One of the biggest questions that people will often wonder when they're looking into solar and batteries is how much is it going to cost? It's a very common question, and the answer is it really just depends. Uh, it might not even make sense to get solar and batteries. It just depends on the cost is going to depend on your electricity usage, the bills that you'd be getting, what kind of rate hikes you have to pay. Also the available roof area for the panels, where the battery can be installed, what it looks like with the meter board in terms of any upgrades to the meter board. And once we know all that sort of information, then we're really able to know size appropriate options to help to lower the bills or even eliminate them, or put them in credit with a passive income. So it just depends on the size of the system, and the amount of savings that you want to get, as well as if you rather keep using the same amount of electricity that you have been, or if you'd like to possibly use more of your own electricity, so you don't have to rent it from the grid, the power lines, and pay for the rate hikes from the power companies. So once we have a clearer picture of all that sort of information, then we can recommend possible options to help you to save more money for the long term and really have more control over your own electricity and more financial security. But in terms of the costs, we do have different avenues. A lot of people think that you need to invest money up front to get solar panels and batteries, but really we have a different avenue that a lot of people choose, which is that instead of you basically diverting the funds that you pay for your electricity bills into funding to pay off the ability to own your own system, your own solar and battery system, where you're owning the electricity that it generates from the sun and supplies to your home during the day and at night, and it also exports electricity to the grid so that you can make money selling it that way as well. And some people say to us, oh, but you don't make that much money exporting to the grid because the credits I've been getting, if they've got solar panels, they say this has been going down every year, which is true. However, if you have a battery, you can switch to a different electricity company that allows you to get access to the wholesale rates on the market, which allow you to get paid considerably more. So instead of only getting paid like 5 cents per kilowatt hour or less, and that amount is declining every year, instead of that, you can get paid up to $19 per kilowatt hour. So 5 cents versus $19, and that allows you to make significantly more money, especially certain times of the year when there's a lot of demand for electricity on the grid, and which can push the prices up. And that typically happens more often on hot summer afternoons or cold winter evenings. It's a lot like instead of renting your electricity, it's a lot like renting your home, which is why we use the analogy of renting, because it's very similar. Instead of renting your home for the rest of your life, you're able to own your home and avoid having to pay that rent. It's much the same with owning your own electricity. You avoid having to rent the electricity for the rest of your life and pay for increasing rent over every year that the power companies increase the rates by. And it's been about a 20 to 60% increase over the last 3 years. So how much is it going to cost? Again, it just depends. We have to find out more about your situation, your electricity, the rate hikes you've been getting, and then size the system appropriately to lower or eliminate the bills or put them in credit, avoid the inflation over time, and also possibly size a system that really is sized according to how much electricity that you might actually like to use, rather than being forced to be bullied into using less electricity because of it. It can be expensive to keep paying for electricity, renting it from the grid. So we need to know more about you before we can recommend options that would be appropriate for you, because there's so many different options, but there's a broad range. All of the customers we've been able to help, all the different avenues we have, they could save anywhere from $20,000 to $120,000 over 10 years or more over a longer period. And then when they go to sell the home, they're able to sell it more quickly and at a higher value. Compare that with not having solar and batteries and spending, instead of having 20 to 120,000 coming in savings, including earnings with exporting electricity, people that don't own their own electricity could spend anywhere from $29,000 to $38,000 over 10 years. That's including the rate hikes of 3% per year. If assuming the power companies are nice and say, we like you, we're just going to only increase the rates by 3% per year, or if they're up to 7% a year, and it could be higher than that, because over the last 3 years they've increased by 20 to 60%. But if they're only 7%, if they up to 7% a year, then a home could spend $38,000, up to $38,000 or more if their usage is higher on electricity bills over 10 years. So instead of spending $29,000 to $38,000, solar and battery owners avoid having to pay for electricity bills. They're able to make money, and so over 10 years have $20,000 to $120,000 in savings rather than being made to pay $29,000 to $39,000. Does that make sense? Do you see how that works? If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment in the chat, or hit the like the like button if you found this video to be helpful, and the subscribe button if you found this content to be helpful and would like to subscribe to more content as it comes out. All right, take care.